Welcome back to my channel. You join me here at Old Mill Lakes in Lincolnshire, and we are on Oak Lake. I've been here a few times before. I've fished on this lake twice. I think the last time I was here was last April with my mate Peter, and then I think it was the year before when I came on my own. Both of those sessions I done a 48 hour and I ended up with 2 fish on each session, so I'm hoping that I can get a couple of fish on this session. Yeah, arrived here, it is Tuesday the 10th of September, and I arrived at the gate just after 10 o'clock. You can arrive from 10 AM and that is to enable you to get your nets and sling disinfected by Chris, the owner, and then you can get set up and begin fishing from 12 PM. And then once your fishing session comes to an end, I think 11 o'clock you can fish till. So yeah, I'm actually doing a 72 hour this session, so yeah, hoping to get a few fish on the bank, which would be great. The banks have been really busy lately, all over the UK, with the weather slightly changing, so some people are getting like the last few sessions in before it gets too cold or whatever. But yeah, I noticed like Norton Disney's been really busy lately, and I decided to come here because you book online now, so you were guaranteed a spot. I just didn't want to run the risk of going somewhere like Norton Disney and not getting on any of the lakes just because it's too busy. So yeah, I decided to come back here. I do enjoy it here. It is a very commercialised lake, so the swims are pretty close together, pretty narrow, but there's an amazing stock of fish in here, and that's what, well, it's what I come fishing for at the end of the day. So yeah, it's an 8-acre lake. Basically it's like a rectangle with swims on one side and the other, and then on the other 2 sides there's no swims, and they're just a reed line margin. So there's no features in this lake other than the margins. So if you're fortunate enough to get on one of the corner swims, you've got the margins, which do produce good fish. But to be fair, from what I've seen on my 2 sessions here previous, they do come out from all over. So I'm on a central swim today. The lake was pretty busy when I arrived. There was a group of 6 lads that just arrived same time as me, well, just before me. They were all wanting to fish together, and they were really fortunate. There was one bank, the far side, that was pretty much free, other than one person already fishing. So they've all managed to get in a row for them, so that's really good. So they're going to have a social, and I'm on the nearest bank as you enter the lake from the car park. Not fished this side before, I've always fished the other side, so it's new for me. Like I say, it's a central swim. There was 4 other guys on this side, both covering the end 2, so there was basically, there was 3 swims available. I've gone for the centre one. There was a swim either side of me, both empty. One of them's now been taken, so the only swim on the lake which hasn't been taken is to my right hand side at this moment in time. Don't know if anyone's going to arrive at all today, but so yeah, so it's a busy lake. There's 14 swims in total, 13 of those are taken. As I said, the swims are quite close to each other, so you've got to be quite considerate when it comes to getting your rigs out. Make sure that you're in your own boundary. But yeah, very simple tactics with this lake. I have tried various ways. I've tried the heavy baiting, I've tried just a sort of bag approach, and the heavy baiting didn't work for me when I tried it. It was my first ever session here. The fish were showing towards the middle of the lake. I decided to spam a load of bait out on top of them. Fished all 3 basically in a spot in the middle of the lake, and the fish were showing for the next 24 hours and I didn't get a bite. So weird, that's all I can say. And what I ended up doing that session was I ended up bringing all 3 just close in and just nicking a little PVA mesh bag on my rig and just trying to nick a bite, and I did manage to get 2 in my final sort of 24 hours. So yeah, and then last time I was here with Peter, my mate, and we were just basically just using PVA mesh bags, just nicking a bite, and yeah, I managed to get 2, and Peter, he was in the corner swim, so he had the margin, and I think he had 5, so really good session for him. So yeah, very simple tactics today. I've literally just gone with PVA mesh bags, just nicked them on a hook, fluorocarbon D-rig, size 4, and I'm just using a small 10mm pop-ups, but they're basically just acting as like a wafter. So the hook is lying on the floor, and the small pop-up is just hovering above it. Hopefully with a little tennis ball, not a tennis ball, a golf ball sized amount of pellets, just to try and nick a bite. So that's where we're at. I basically had all 3 rods out now for about an hour. So it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, I'm just videoing you from inside my bivvy because it's really windy actually. It's about 35-mile-an-hour winds. It was rain when I arrived, so I very quickly got the bivvy up and kind of just got everything in the dry. So yeah, but it's not raining anymore. The sun's trying to come out. Weather for this session is pretty good. Overcast skies quite a bit. Good amount of wind. Not much rain. So yeah, conditions are pretty good for the fish. Lately with this weather we've had in September, the temperatures have dropped a bit, nothing drastically. We've gone from averaging about 20 degrees to about 15 degrees during the day, and I think that would have only helped the likes of this lake. I'd like to think that they're going to be getting on the feed knowing that winter's not far away. So yeah, quite optimistic on this session. Like I say, I've had 2 fish on my last 2 sessions, which are 48. I'm here for 72. If I can have 3 fish, I'll be very happy with that. But if not, what'll be will be. Just going to enjoy this session. So yeah, I will chill out now because it's been pretty busy. Left the house quite early. Left the house just after 7 o'clock, and yeah, ready to relax now. So I'll update you a bit later. It's about 4:30 now. It's been a quiet afternoon for myself. There's been 1 fish out that I'm aware of, which came from the other bank, and yeah, all quiet on the western front. So I thought I'd show you a couple of things. One new thing that I've got is my Ridge Monkey Cool box. I've gone for the largest one they do, which is a 50. And yeah, I think it wasn't far off £100, but really impressed with it so far. It's keeping everything really ice cold, so I've got a few ice packs in there, and yeah, when I've pulled out a can of Coke this afternoon, the can was almost frozen. So yeah, working a lot better than you know, your average cooler box that I used to use. So all I've been doing this afternoon, I've been chilling to be honest, but I've been just making up some more PVA bags, just the mesh bags. So as you can see, that's all they are, just a small mesh bag, just a mouthful of food, and all I do is I just nick that on the hook, and that's all that's going in the lake at this moment in time. There's people are on the lake using various tactics. The majority of them are putting a bit of bait in. So, like I say, I fished here before and tried different things, but personally I'm just going to use a minimal amount of bait and just try and get them when they're just passing by. They are used to large amounts of bait going in, especially towards the middle of the lake, but sometimes that can be counterproductive. It can sometimes put them off, make them a little bit wary. But yeah, carry on doing what I'm doing, chilling, watching some MotoGP on my tablet, just enjoying being out in the outdoors. And I'll give you another update in a few hours time. Well, good morning. I apologise I didn't do a nighttime message last night. I was just kicking back, relaxing, watching some bike racing and things like that. So it was a little bit showery last night, and it was forecast for showers during the night, and it got to about 10:30, and I just thought, you know what, I really want a good night's sleep. So I actually brought all my rods in last night. So yeah, I'm quite honest when it comes to carp fishing, and I am not a fan, in all honesty, of getting out the bivvy during the night, especially if it's raining or if it's in the winter and it's freezing cold. So although I do like to do my overnight carp fishing, it's more because of the convenience factor of travelling somewhere and taking all your gear. I don't really want to be doing day sessions. So yeah, I don't mind doing the overnighters, but sometimes I do bring my rods in, especially if I'm not really feeling it with the fishing. Bit unusual yesterday with the fishing, so obviously there's 13 anglers on this lake, including myself. As far as I'm aware, I think there was 2 fish out yesterday. There might have been 1 or 2 others that I'm unaware of. So yeah, very strange. I was confident yesterday, just using fluorocarbon D-rigs, just a little 12mm sticky baits budworm pop-up, which was acting more of like a wafter, just hovering above the hook, and then just nicking on a little mesh bag of pellet, and I really thought that would be the one, but it didn't work. So I've had a little switch about this morning. I've kept 1 D-rig on, but I've put a pineapple yellow wafter on that, so something a bit visual. And then the other 2 I've switched over to spinner rigs, and the reason for that is I think the match the hatch colour variation that I was doing yesterday didn't really work for me, so I'm trying something a bit different. I'm sticking to a visual. It's been a few hours since that last message, and yeah, unfortunately I didn't get that early morning bite. Yeah, the lake's still fishing rather slow. I've seen 2 fish get caught this morning, 1 from the other bank and 1 from this side. But yeah, it's still a little bit slow. It's not as easy as you might think. It is advertised as a runs water. Various different websites say different numbers of fish, but there's at least, I imagine, 500 in the lake. So there's plenty of fish. But yeah, it's just, I can't get my head around it. It's not as straightforward as you imagine. So I've spoken to various people. A couple of lads who are just to my right, they're packing up now and they're going to be leaving. I think one of them has landed 1 fish. The other guy who was fishing in the corner swims landed 2, I think. But overall they've struggled, and I believe the 2 fish that the guy caught in the corner, they were just his Roman rod, where he was just pub chucking a rig out like a single hook bait, and he managed to just get a couple that way, and over his baited area struggled. Guy who's to my left, just been speaking to him, he's fished here a few times before, and he says the same. You know, it can be a tricky lake, this, and sometimes you'll see people catch one after another for a few hours and then it'll go dead. But yeah, he's fishing all 3 out in the middle, and he's created just one big spot. So he's put quite a lot of bait out of his boat, and he's just fishing all 3 rods on a spot, and he's not had anything. He arrived with me yesterday, and there's another couple of guys who arrived same time as me on this bank, and I think one of them has had 1 fish. So yeah, it's not as easy as you might think it is, and I'm just as bad for preempting how my session's going to go, and think I'm going to be catching multiple fish, but it doesn't always work out like that. So yeah, if I can get a couple before I go, I'll be happy. But yeah, it's testing times, but the sun's out, so it's relatively warm, a little bit windy, and it's going to be showery pretty much most of the afternoon. So yeah, keep doing what I'm doing, which isn't a lot. Hope for the best. Let's see what happens there. Well, I apologise for the lack of updates, guys. It's not going too well on the fishing front. It's mid-afternoon now. I am struggling. So yeah, I might have been waffling on earlier about hook baits and all that shit, but I think that's what catfishing does to you when things don't go to plan. You just start doubting, second guessing, trying to work out what's actually going on. But sometimes you just got to think, if they don't want to feed, they don't want to feed. And it's probably got nothing to do with hook baits, whether they're a pop-up or they're a wafter. If it's not happening, it's not happening. But yeah, I'm really struggling. So I don't know if you can see, but there's some sort of big bull rush in the water which is just caught on my line, so there's never a better time to bring all 3 rods in now and go to plan C. Don't really know what plan C is. I'm thinking maybe my middle rod to put out in the distance like I've been fishing, just drop a load of pellet around it, and then I'm thinking of bringing my left and right one just close in, like really close in, because I'm really struggling. So I've got now to lose. I'm over 24 hours into this session and so far it is not happening. So I might as well try something else. So yeah, I think I'll bring my left and my right in short, just have my middle rod out in the middle of the pond really. Yeah, not going to plan. Fishing does half crack me up at times, it really does. You think you've got it all sewn up, got it all pre-planned in your head how your session's gonna go, but no, doesn't want to play ball. Right, so I'm going to get these in and get them refreshed. Bring 2 of them close in, like I said. Keep one out in the middle. And what'll be will be. There has been a few fish out that peg over in that corner. So the first peg he come to on the opposite bank, I think he's had 2 today. I believe this is his 3rd day. I think he caught 1 on his first day. He didn't catch any yesterday. He's had 2 today. So it is tough going. Not sure if any fish have been out other than that. Other than those 2. So yeah, might be a runs water on the website, but not guaranteed. Right, catch up with you later. Sorry for boring you. Right, so I've just brought all 3 rods in and I've implemented plan C. So my middle rod, it's no longer out in the middle or my side of the middle, it's now in between me and the middle, so it's about halfway out. That's my middle rod, and that's over a hopper full of pellet. So that's the only rod I've got over any bait as such. And I've decided my left and my right, they're now a lot closer in. So my left rod is literally about a rod length in front of these reeds, and I've just got a little PVA mesh bag clipped on that rig, so kind of just fishing for a bite. And more or less the same with my right hand rod. It's about, that one's a little bit further out, that one's about 2.5 to 3 rod lengths off these reeds to my right. And same again. And yeah, I just kind of realised that I've tried the swapping and changing and all that business, and yeah, it clearly wasn't that was preventing me from catch anything. So I decided to give the sticky bloodworm pop-ups another go. So they're on this left hand rod, and I've kind of reverted back to tactics I was using yesterday when I arrived, kind of just fishing for a bite, other than the middle rod, which is over a hopper full of pellet. But yeah, the other two were just fishing for a bite, which is how I started yesterday, and I thought I was doing it wrong. I apologise if you can hear someone's bite alarm. It's just the joys of day ticket waters at times. But yeah, plan C, feeling a bit more confident. You probably noticed with my swing arms, the 2 margin rods, they've just literally really slack line. All that line sank to the bottom, so I shouldn't be picking up any liners, and I shouldn't be spooking any fish, all being well. Just that middle rod is on a relatively tight line, as it's a little bit further out. So yeah, plan C is in place. It's now around 3:10 in the afternoon on the Wednesday, so I've got roughly 40 hours ahead of me. My maths isn't great, but somewhere around there. I will be leaving the rods out during the night now, because I didn't realise it was going to be fishing so tricky this session. So yeah, rods are staying out. I very much doubt I'll be bringing any of these rods in now for the rest of the night, unless one of them goes. So yeah, fingers crossed. I'm trying, and that's all you can do. Just the wind catching that. But yeah, I'll update you later. I apologise for the lack of footage, guys. It's been really quiet. I think the lake is just fishing really moody at the moment. I believe it was closed last week as the owners were on holiday, but there was plenty of people fishing over the weekend, and it's been pretty full since. Just one peg free at the moment. But yeah, fishing very moody, so everyone's struggling. Not a lot we can do other than keep trying and keep making excuses for ourselves as to why we're not catching. But that's what all carp anglers are good at, including myself. So if I get anything during the night, I'll give you an update. If not, I'll see you in the morning. Right, morning. It's been a very uneventful night. Managed to get a good night's sleep, but by God, this fishing's not going to plan, is it? So got an early morning mist across the lake, which is nice. But yeah, this fishing is not going to plan. I had this thing in my head before I arrived that I'd be catching maybe 2 or 3 fish a day, hoping to catch some 20s,
maybe even a 30, but no, I'm blanking. But the whole lake seems to be struggling. Since I arrived 2 days ago, all I've seen is an average of 2 or 3 fish come out of the lake each day across the lake, and there is 13 anglers on, so those odds aren't great. So what are we with the second week in September? I really thought they'd be getting their heads down and getting a decent feed, but not at the moment. So there's not much else I can do. I've tried various tactics, fishing in different places. Nothing's working. So when I do bring these rods in, probably in a couple of hours' time, they'll just be going back out in the same areas. 2 relatively close in at either side of me, and 1 far out, about 21, 22 wraps, near the middle. But yeah, keep plodding on. Got over 24 hours. Just over 24 hours ahead of me. I'll probably be packing down at about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I might be looking at a 72-hour blank, which is just crazy to think of, especially on this venue. But that's fishing. Doesn't always go to plan. But yeah, I'll get a couple of coffees on the go. Carry on doing very little. This is going to be the most boring vlog ever. I can only apologise. It's about 9 o'clock now. So I brought all 3 rods in, and the 2 spinner rigs I decided to put D-rigs on them, so all 3 are on a fluorocarbon D-rig. All 3 are on just like the Match the Hatch sticky bait bloodworm pop-ups, the ones that I still wasn't confident on, but in all honesty it's nothing to do with the bait, it's just the way this lake's fishing. So yeah, all 3 rigs are now on D-rigs, just attached mesh bags, so they're sort of used as like a stick, PVA stick. That's what I like about the fluorocarbon D-rigs, you can just use a baiting needle and thread a stick on, and that ensures that the hook's safe and presentable. So yeah, I was speaking to the guy next door who fishes here a few times, 3 or 4 times a year, and he arrived with me on Tuesday and he's packing up now, and he's never seen this lake fished like this before. We can't really put it down to anything other than there's been obviously a drop in temperature the last couple of weeks, and they've maybe just decided to have a break from feeding. But the sun's out today, which might help things. It might slightly raise the temperature of the water, and who knows, who knows. But I was talking to him and he did say if you're in one of these central swims, you're probably better off fishing towards the middle or further out, you know. Fishing close into these margins can work, but fishing close in is more favourable if you're in one of the corner swims. So I've took his advice, so I've decided all 3 rods out towards the middle, and just filled the hopper with pellet on each rig, and that's it. That's all I'm doing. They're going to stay out there until I get a bite, or unless I get a bite, and that's it. So I've just basically, that's it now. Got 24 hours ahead of me. They're out there, they've got bait around it, not much more I can do. So the opposite bank is pretty much all packing up this morning. So there's going to be a change around with personnel, but there's only going to be the one peg available on this bank, which is the guy going off next to me. So someone might jump in there, but yeah, I'm expecting a lot of people to turn up and go on the far bank from me. So yeah, the lake's been pretty quiet. There's been one fish out this morning that I'm aware of, and that came to a guy on the opposite bank once again. So this bank that I'm on, the one that's nearest to the car park, is probably, this session has done a lot less fish than the far bank. I'm sure there's nothing going on, it's just that's the way it's turned out this session, because both of my previous sessions have been on the far bank and I've seen plenty of people catch on this bank. So yeah, there's nothing going on, just the lake is fishing really hard at the moment. So we'll see what happens today. Live in hope. But the sun's out, it's relatively warm, my t-shirt's on, so all is well in the world. So one thing I will add, I did mention before that I got a new cooler box, which is this Ridge Monkey one. I went for the largest size, just because I do bring quite a bit with me. I like my cans of Coke, and I do occasionally bring some lagers or ciders. I didn't on this occasion. I don't drink every time I go fishing. I am quite happy just to drink brews on a night, usually, which is unusual because I do drink quite a bit at home, but for some reason when I'm fishing I do like to be quite compos mentis. I'm not really keen on the feeling of maybe feeling a bit tipsy and then catching a fish during the night. It's not really for me. But anyway, stop wittering on. The cool box has been really good, and previously I was just bringing like a non-fishing cooler box, just the type that you'd buy in Tesco's or wherever, and what I was noticing was after a couple of days things weren't very cold, a little bit dangerous when it comes to raw meat and things like that. So this was packed Tuesday morning, it's now Thursday morning, and everything is ice cold still. My burgers last night, they actually still had frost on last night, so there for today they're absolutely ice cold. It feels like they've just been took out of the fridge. My cans of Coke still, they're absolutely freezing cold. My milk, freezing cold. So all in all, really happy with this purchase. Can highly recommend. I know it wasn't cheap. They do have a couple of smaller models which are a bit cheaper, but yeah, if you like your food and drink cold like I do, highly recommend it. Well guys, it's about 7:15, it's starting to get dark slowly. It's yeah, it's struggling for words. It's just not been anything like I was expecting this session, but I know you can say, well, that's fishing, but it's just been really weird. Honestly, I was not expecting to be blanking on a 72 hour on this lake. No way. So I do apologise, it's probably been the most boring vlog ever, but it's been out of my hands. I've tried my best, I've tried different tactics and you name it, but yeah, it wasn't meant to be. So unless I get a fish during the night, I'm going to end this. On a positive note, a week tomorrow I'm in France, which I'm really looking forward to. So keep an eye out for that video. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.